Hey guys, back at it again. Season 2, episode 8 of Love is Blind UK review entitled Walking Away. At this point, we see Kieran and Megan making breakfast. Jed finally agrees to let Barter wax his chest. It was kind of funny. And now, remember the night before when Javin went out? Turns out I knew Yolanda, Sophia, Damola, and Patrick were there, but the only couple that was there that night was Kieran and Megan. Um, Katisha was surprised that he went out before the night meeting his parents. Javin was really, according to Megan, she's talking to Karen now, her fiance. She's saying that Javin was flirty with other girls. Anu said that he was giving her eyes while they were uh, he was giving her eyes during that night. He was chatting up with Sophie that she took a girl to the photo booth. We find out later that the girl that he took to the photo booth was Sophie. Karen thinks that Meg is a good friend for telling Katisha what happened with Javin that night since she wasn't there. So Rover is getting more anxious because she keeps getting more messages from her mother about her worries about the marriage and the process. Cal says he wants her mother's approval. However, he doesn't want it to be forced. Ashley meets Billy's mom and sister. Billy talks to his sister in the kitchen about the job being a hurdle to their marriage because he was married to Cabin Crew in the past and he wants this marriage to work out. Um, and he said that he doesn't want a marriage where they're the first 6 months of their marriage are going to be living separate because she's going to be flying 3 days at a time, and like I said before, a day that she'll be jet lagged, so they won't be spending that much time together, and him having to kind of like structure his schedule around her. At this point, Katisha talks to goes to meet Javin's mom Carolyn and her younger siblings, and her mom tells him to make sure she treats her like a queen, the way that her husband treats her. Now Cal meets Sorover's family, her mom and her sister. Her mom's name is Bali, and the mom asks him why he chooses her, and he said that he's interested in her posh accent and that she's a fitness queen. Maybe something was cut out because I feel like the surface that the reasons that he gave why he loves her was very surface, and he could have went deeper than that. Cal wants to settle down and he wants to have children one day. Um, he said that when he met her, he bought his Indian style jacket to the reveal, not even knowing that she was Indian. And when they met, it was kind of surreal. Katisha's mom about tells tells Katisha shares with her mom that their communication is strong. That Javin obviously has issues with vulnerability, that he doesn't know how to open up and express himself. Her and Bali so Rover's mom questions if she made the right choice. So Rover doesn't feel her mom trusts her, and that's an issue for her. So Rover said she's learning to put her relationship first, regardless of her mother's approval. Um, she feels like her and Cal, sorry, are balanced because Cal is an underthinker and she seems to be an overthinker. She feels like they balance and complement each other. Bali gives her blessing to Cal and Sorover for the wedding. Now we go to Billy and Ashley, who are drinking some beer together, and they are in Belfast. And so they were racing to drink the beer. Obviously, Billy wins. Then Barter goes to Jed's house, and he comes in. He said that his place is um, so walking into the house, Barter said that Jed's place looks more like a bachelor pad and is in need of a woman's touch. He showed her his gaming station and his jukebox, and Barter meets Jed's parents. And Jed said they connected over their similar cultural backgrounds. Obviously, if you guys remember, he is Albanian, and no, he is Lebanese and she's Albanian, and obviously the food and the culture is very similar since they're both Middle Eastern. He said his parents were married for 34 years, and Barto's parents have been married for a similar amount of time, so they both take marriage seriously. Um, He said that Jed's mom, is worried about how fast paced the process is. Now we see Megan finally meets up with Katisha to discuss what she saw during the night that Javin went out. The night before he had met her parents. She basically tells her that he went in the photo booth with Sophie. Then he said that he did spend the night also speaking to Yolanda and Anu. Then Megan questions Javin, and he claims that, and his claims were that Yolanda makes me happy, and I quote, Anu makes me happy, and Katisha makes me happy. Katisha said his behaviors are similar to his ex, and it kind of was a trigger for her. Katisha decided to pack her bags, and she, instead of having a chat with Javin, she leaves him a goodbye letter. Um, and so Javin, so Javin, Javin asked Megan to come over to talk about the whole situation, and basically, Javin accuses Megan of lying, and Megan obviously had no reason to lie. She was a true girl's girl this season. Meg became my favorite after episode 8 for looking out for Katisha and letting her know what she saw. And then we see Calvin and Sorover go out with dinner, and Cal says he's really comfortable with Sorover. Unlike the past, he hasn't felt, as comfortable as he does with her in this relationship. Um, Cal says that no, Sorora shares that Cal has helped her learn to prioritize herself, to speak up, and they say I love you when they kiss. And so at this point, Katisha wrote Javin that goodbye letter, and she also leaves her ring behind. She said she's grateful she found out the type of person that he is sooner, and she is leaving. Javin ends up reading the note, and he is pissed. He feels like Katisha should have believed him. Um, Billy dives into the ocean, and Ashley joins him, and it's really cold. At this point, they're still in Belfast, in his hometown. Javin calls Pat and tells him that Katisha has left the note and the ring. And Pat says, that Javin has also spent time that night with him and Damola. And so Javin claims that Megan is being dishonest based on what Patrick has said. So Ashley and Billy discuss how they're going to handle their first 6 months of marriage, because it's going to be hard given her schedule as cabin crew, or AKA a stewardess or flight attendant here in America. She is confident about marrying him, but Billy Billy says he's looking at all angles, and at that point, Billy starts to have his doubts. Javin meets up with Karen and Megan, and Javin tells Megan that she spoke, the things that she has spoken on were half truths, about seeing him with Megan and Yolanda and Anu. She said, "I saw you with Megan and Anu every time she looked up." But Javin basically said he also spent time with Demola and Patrick. Um, he said that Javen said he was there for 3 hours. Um, and that whole thing. And so Karen basically, Megan says that he went into the photo booth with her. They didn't take any pictures of photo booth while it's on. Megan claims there was a curtain on the photo booth, and it was closed. And Karen backs her up, saying that it was closed, and he's seen her, him he sees Javin and Sophie coming out of the photo booth. The tea is, thank you at the Reality C podcast, is that they were in there making out, but he lied to Katisha and said that they were in there arguing. What did they even have to argue about? So Megan walks out and is frustrated, and she's upset, and she was on the balcony crying. Javin then apologizes to Karen for making Megan cry. And Javin said that, if they were not able to communicate effectively, then obviously their relationship wasn't meant to be. At that point, I think that Megan just felt gaslit, and it's frustrating to go back and forth with someone who's going to continuously lie. And so, with that being said, that is the end of season 2, episode 8 review. Don't forget again to tune into the reunion August 31st, 4 p.m. Eastern on Netflix. And I will be back with reviews and, of course, current couple updates. Ciao.